it's that mental block of saying, yeah, I really want to do this, but I don't think I can do it. And it's like getting the confidence to do it. And I mean, surprisingly, I'm not a big risk taker. This is just kind of the journey that I've chosen. But, it's a big risk. And I think you have to be super vulnerable and be okay with failing. And I think people are more scared of failing than succeeding.
Of course.
And that'll just stop you in your tracks. Once you start thinking about failing before you're starting, it just eats you alive. And you're like, I'm too scared to do this. What are your skill sets? What are you good at?
Okay.
And really more importantly, what do you like doing? And what don't you like doing? Because there's certain things, this is super simple, but my business partner actually enjoys cleaning and likes doing things of that nature.
Okay.
I'm not good at
Perfect.
it. And
That's
I don't
perfect
like
match.
doing that. So like, that's just one tiny example, but like finding that yin and yang, like you're going to be good at this and operate like that, and I'm going to be good at this and operate on that side. So it's in the same line of understanding your roles. The biggest thing was we didn't do the proper diligence on our landlord, and that almost bankrupted our business, my mental stability.
Yep.
And we ended up in a legal battle, and nobody wins in a legal battle. He didn't live up to what he had promised us. And, it was really bad for our business and our reputation, because when the facility is not working properly, the clients look to me and to our team. And we're beholden to the landlord in some instances. And if the landlord can't come up with the proper fix for it, we're going to lose our clients, which we did. And we're going to tarnish our reputation, which luckily, we just took a hit. We were like, hey, we can't make you pay, even though we still paid rent. We can't make you pay because you weren't able to use the kitchen. The kitchen was 112 degrees.
Yeah.
And we're in the middle of Houston summer. Like, I can't have it. And I'm not about to have you faint in here and then really come after me.
Yeah. What's up, you guys? Welcome back to Stats to Assets podcast, where we talk about career development, business, finance, and health. Today, if you are interested or have been interested in understanding restaurant business or a little bit of a different business model, we're going to be talking about shared kitchens, kind of ghost kitchens, but shared kitchens. I've got my friend Max here with us today to talk about that. Max, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me on.
I forgot to ask, how do you say your last name?
Kunik.
Kunik, sweet. Awesome. So, Max, for everybody, tell everybody who you are and what do you do?
Yeah, my name's Max Kunik. I run a company called Wingman Kitchens. We do shared kitchen spaces that support all kinds of culinary entrepreneurs. So we try and make it super easy and affordable for people to start their culinary entrepreneurial journeys.
Mm-hmm. And you are expanding around Texas. You're in Austin and Houston. Any other cities?
We're trying to get into San Antonio, hopefully by Q2 2025.
Yeah.
I'm saying that to put it into reality.
You got to put it out there. You definitely got to put it out there. So how did you get into shared kitchens? Like, where did the idea come from?
Yeah, so shared kitchens aren't a concept that I've come up with.
Okay.
But I got into it because I've worked around food, not in food, for my entire professional career. And I worked for Austin Restaurant Week when I was in college. I worked for Favor, running their operations when they first got started here. I worked for a nonprofit called the Austin Food and Wine Alliance. It's now the Texas Food and Wine Alliance. I worked for a salsa company called Jaime Spanish Village. And simultaneously, I was running a dinner club called Tasters Table Club. Now, when I was running Tasters Table Club and working for Jaime Spanish Village, we kept hearing the same thing of when I was working with the private chefs or the food trucks. Hey, there's just not enough kitchen space for us to utilize when we're having a big party, or we need prep for all these different events that we're doing. And then in the kitchen at Jaime's, we had our own kitchen, and we would have random people walk in from the streets asking if they could use our kitchen. Our kitchen wasn't advertised anywhere. Wow. They would just see food, like actual food delivery trucks come in and out. And so decided they would walk in and give it a shot. And we didn't have capacity for that, and the owner wasn't open to that at the time.
Yeah.
So over like the course of 4 years, I saw it enough, and I'd graduated with a degree in entrepreneurship and decided, hey, maybe this is the path that I should go down because I love being able to help food entrepreneurs. I love food. I don't want to start a restaurant, so this is kind of the perfect segue of being able to interact in, at that time, the Austin food community.
Okay, cool. So what kind of turned you off about starting a restaurant? What's
I mean,
talk about that.
It's the highest fail rate of any business out there.
Okay.
My family has done it. I see how hard people in the restaurant industry work, and God bless them and hats off to them for being able to grind and do it. That's not the lifestyle I was trying to live, and so that's kind of why I strayed away from that. And I've never run a restaurant or, not front of house, not back of house. So I wasn't really well equipped for it. But what I did know how to do is, build a business plan to sell a space.
Yeah. So you've kind of worked in the restaurant space in different capacities. Talk about how that actually kind of helped you get ready to be the entrepreneur you are in the shared kitchen space.
Yeah, so I was lucky enough at all the different positions I had, to have a lot of autonomy, and that allowed me to make mistakes. And as an entrepreneur, you have to be ready to make mistakes. Nobody's going to be perfect. So I'd say that was like my biggest learning is, okay, if we're going to fail this way, then there's other ways. There's different resources to lean on and ask questions, and to not be scared to ask questions because you're going to sound silly or dumb. And there's really no dumb questions out there because everyone's going through the same thing. So it's a super broad answer. But because I don't have that direct experience in restaurants, opening this shared kitchen space was a totally new venture. And I had to partner with someone that did know more about it. So it took me a couple years to find that partner. Because I already had the business plan and kind of had the space in mind. But the partner was huge for me. And for me in Wingman Kitchens, that was Robert Strong. And he knew how to lay out the kitchen, and he knew how to set the right rules. And I could just go in and sell the space. And I didn't know what the names of half the equipment were in there when I started. But over time, I learned, and he's able to keep the space running and laid out well. So it's very efficient for all of our members to use.
That's sweet. Talk about so wait, where did the Wingman name come from?
Yeah, so Wingman wasn't our original name.
It wasn't?
No. We had a different name, and then we can't talk about it, and we got paid to change our name, so it worked.
Gotcha.
So Wingman Kitchens, we're all about hooking people up with the best kitchen experience possible.
Sweet. Okay.
And so really it's, it comes from the same terms, like you're just trying to be a wingman for your buddy at the bars or at the wedding or whatever. We're trying to do the same thing in the kitchen world.
Very cool. Yes, definitely talk about how easy was it for you to go into business with someone else. A lot of times when people start their entrepreneurial journey, they kind of look over starting with somebody to get the ball rolling and like wanting to own 100% yourself. But talk about that decision for you.
Yeah, so originally there were 3 of us, and the other friend of ours, he's the one that connected the 2 of us, and we kind of had our own lanes that we were going in, and I think that's really important for anyone that's starting a business, is to understand which lanes you're involved with. So like my lane was the business side and the operations side of like knowing what our finances look like and knowing how to sell the space and all of that. The other guy was supposed to do marketing. He left and it was fine, and we outsource marketing now. And then Robert's role is really the operations inside of the kitchen, making sure that everything's working with the equipment and everything, making sure that everyone's cleaning, everything's labeled properly, and that everyone is comfortable in the kitchen. That's really his role, and we define those pretty early on. And as long as because Robert can do what I can do, he's very smart, and he does that for his other business that he runs.
Yeah.
But us knowing what our roles are in the business has been really important. Because, you can be a solo entrepreneur. There's nothing wrong with that. It is nice being in a partnership where you can lean on someone a little bit when you don't know the answers. because a lot of times they know things too.
Yeah.
And we're able to bounce ideas off of each other all the time, and we don't always agree. But it's good to have the banter and the conversation and just knowing each other's boundaries, because we didn't know each other at all before we started, and it was kind of because I was such good friends with the guy that introduced us, and he was also. It was a mutual understanding that we were kind of on the same playing field on what our values were. Because I will say that a lot of people are just looking for a co-founder, and they're like, oh, I want a CTO, and they'll kind of take any CTO, and that's not the right play. You want to make sure that your core value set is the same, and I think the other things can get worked out, but if you don't have the same core values on just like life in general, it's a really difficult thing to hurdle.
Yeah, for sure. What's a CTO?
Chief Technical Officer. That's like for tech stuff. We don't do tech stuff, but it's something that I see a lot being in Austin. People are like, okay, I'm an operations person, or in my world, I'm a food person. I need a technical person to help me build an app or whatever. And they're like, they'll go and meet someone and they're fun over beers, but they didn't really get into, for people, how do you treat people? And when you're put in this situation, how do you act?
Yeah. And
for us, that's a big thing. Like, people are first. We're dealing with people all the time. And if you don't have a core value of like wanting to help people, it wouldn't work in our system.
Yeah. So you kind of just mentioned two questions that kind of would answer my question. My question is, what questions would people ask when they're meeting a potential partner in business? What kind of questions would they ask them to see, hey, would our partnership work, or is it worth even trying it for, I don't know, 6 months and seeing how it goes?
Yeah. So, I mean, I think the first things first is, what are your skill sets? What are you good at?
Okay.
And really more importantly, what do you like doing? And what don't you like doing? Because there's certain things, this is super simple, but my business partner actually enjoys cleaning and likes doing things of that nature.
Okay.
I'm not good at
Perfect.
it, and
That's
I don't
perfect
like
match.
doing that. So like, that's just one tiny example, but like finding that yin and yang, like, you're going to be good at this and operate like that, and I'm going to be good at this and operate on that side. So it's in the same line of understanding your roles, but then on like the more personal level, you want to make sure that the value set is right. So it's more asking, and I'm not a professional at this, but it's more asking the questions of, what is your family life like? Do you, or what are your friends and family like? Are you going and hanging out with people? Do you prioritize going and taking care of people over taking care of yourself, or doing other things? That's like, I think just for me, that's something that's super important, is knowing that family and friends are core to what your belief system is, and making sure that everyone in your system and community is always a priority, and that you're not, for lack of better words, self-centered. And you can kind of put people in front of yourself. I'd say that's a pretty core value that I look for. Now, for other people, it might be, hey, you need to be super ambitious, type A, like, work comes first all the time. That's not the world that I live in. I respect the work-life balance, and even though I want to have super fast response rates, I'm not going to say, hey, leave your family's dinner so that we can respond to an email. That's not the expectation.
Oh my goodness. Max, take me through your whole journey. So you had the idea, right? What was the first thing that you actually did? Did you get before you connected with your wingman partner?
I mean, it took years. Okay. So the first thing, as soon as I decided that I wanted to look at it as a business model, I went and talked to other people that do what I do. And so I went and talked to the other two women that were running shared kitchen spaces in Austin, kind of got their feedback on where the industry was and how they were doing things. And, they both warned me that there's not a lot of money in it, and it's like, okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's not going to scare me away.
Yeah.
And then I went and talked to some other people in different cities that were doing it, and better understood how people are doing things, how we can differentiate, and then really just kind of canvassed a little bit on food trucks and private chefs, and just made sure that what I had been seeing was reality, like how much are people willing to pay to be in this space. And so that was the first things that I wanted to do. And then from there, it was coming up with a business plan to really nail down, hey, this is going to work as a business. Because I think that's, for me, because I did entrepreneurship as a major, which was not, it was unique at the time, not anymore. There's all kinds of entrepreneurship majors now.
Okay.
But like, I always focused on the financials because at the end of the day, that's the only thing that makes, that's the only thing that's going to make your business valid or not. If the numbers don't make sense, it's never going to work.
Absolutely.
So it's just making sure that the numbers that I understood were going to be the reality and how I could make a living on it.
Tech is one of the fastest growing industries and highest paying industries. If you're looking to start a tech career in sales, IT, or data, I highly recommend you start Course Careers Bootcamp. It's the most affordable bootcamp that actually takes you from A to Z when it comes to learning the skills you need for a new tech role. They help you build your resume, build your portfolio, and prep you to ace your interviews. I personally have taken the sales course, the IT course, and received job offers for both. Currently, I'm taking the data analyst course, and it's fire. You get a Discord community to ask questions directly to your instructor, and you get to connect with other students on the same journey as you. Click the link in the bio to get $50 off your first course. It's also a 14-day money-back guarantee if you don't think it's a good fit for you. So this should be a no-brainer and a win-win. Join Course Careers. They will help you land a new role with a salary of $60,000 to $80,000 for an entry-level role. Get started now. Let's go. So number one, you saw a gap in the market, and you kind of tested that and did some market research with some other business owners that were actually in business. You saw how they were running things and maybe got an idea of what you could do better, right? Very cool. So what's next?
Yeah, after doing the business plan, it was starting to see how you can make the business a reality. And so starting to look at spaces. But for me, like I was saying, I needed to find the right partner to be able to run the kitchen. And that took like probably close to a year and a half, 2 years. And because I wasn't willing to jump into something that I wasn't comfortable with running the full thing by myself.
Okay.
And so it was just being patient. And finally, once we found each other, then it was, okay, this is my plan. Do you believe in this plan? Yes. Okay. Who do you would you bring your business over here? And at the time it was yes. And who's going to use the kitchen? So once we kind of found that, it was, okay, let's find the space and then understand how much it's going to take to build out the space. Because at the time there were no spaces that we could find that we could just turn in and retrofit into a shared kitchen space. So we did that, and now we're up over at Springdale General, which is, a couple blocks away from where we're at right now. Cool. And we learned a lot in the build-out phase because we knew nothing about construction. And so we've learned a ton about that since then and how we would do things going forward and how we are doing things going forward. The goal is to not do construction if we can, but otherwise have someone with an expertise with construction to manage that. And then the final piece was raising the money because we didn't have all the money to build out a space.
Yeah.
And so we had to raise about $100,000, and we went and pitched a handful of people and finally found the right person and the right group. And then we were off to the races.
Dang. Okay. I got to go back though. So you were patient for about a year and a half to find a partner to go into business with. Tell me how hard was that, just to be patient and to keep in your head like, hey, I'm going to find somebody to work with before I go into business? Because some people would be like, forget it. I'm going into business by myself. I'll do it, right? Instead of just being patient. And how did you also find other people or find potential partners before you got to your partner now?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to say that I went and interviewed a ton of people. I got lucky
Yeah.
that someone just kind of fell into my world, and it worked out. I wasn't necessarily in a rush to leave the position that I was in because we were growing the Jaime Spanish Village at the time, and I felt pretty good about the work that we were doing. So I'd say probably a little bit of both, and me just being a patient person in general. Just the light persistence of trying to move this project forward, but not forcing it. How do you do that? I don't know how to tell other people to do it, but I just know that's kind of how it worked for me, is that I had a stable job and that I was very happy in, and it allowed me to do other things. Like I was still running my dinner club at the time. And so I was able to still be flourishing and doing other things on my entrepreneurial journey, and still making all kinds of good contacts that would inevitably be good for Wingman Kitchens.
Yeah. For entrepreneurs, do you think it's always a good idea to, before they go into their business or whatever they want to do, to keep their day job or whatever they're doing, to have some income coming in? What's your view on that?
100% of the time it's a good idea to keep the money that's coming in, because you watch shows like Shark Tank or other things that are, you need to quit your job and focus full time on this. I don't believe in that. I'm not a billionaire like them either, but the reality is that it's hard for you to have a real peace of mind to run your business when you're not stable. So if you're worried about money all the time, you can say, oh yeah, you're going to keep grinding to make sure your business works. But the other side of it is, if your business isn't working, you're going to have to find other ways to pay the bills. That's the reality that we live in. So even people that come into our kitchen, I always tell them, start at a package that you're comfortable with, that you can also keep your job. Make sure that once your company is doing well enough to pay at least something that you're comfortable with living before you quit your job, because there's no reason to quit. Let's say someone's trying to start a baked goods company. Great. You have amazing baked goods, but right now you're only selling $20,000. You're forecasting to sell $20,000 for the year. That's awesome, but you're not going to pay to live in Austin.
No.
So you need to keep some other income coming in.
Yeah.
And so I strongly encourage people to keep their job. And then, while they have their free time at night, if you're actually, everyone's job is exhausting in different ways. But if you're really motivated to start your own business, you're going to have the energy and drive and desire to want to use your extra hours in the day to work on it.
Yeah. Yeah. What type of businesses use your kitchen?
So anything that works with food, we've worked with. We've done caterers. We have meal prep companies. We have consumer packaged good companies that are selling like grocery stores. We have people that do pop-ups in our spaces. Really anything with food we've seen come through our space. We've seen dog treat companies come through as well. And anyone that wants to create some kind of food product or some kind of food business, we're really the perfect place to start. Just because our packages are so flexible that you can do 4 hours a month and be paying $140 a month, or you can be doing 20 hours a month and change it from month to month. So as your business grows, or maybe you decide to take a vacation in the middle of summer, your package can be flexible, and you as an entrepreneur are never beholden to a long-term lease.
Where did these type of businesses and entrepreneurs, where did they do their business before, like a business like yours was available?
Yes, like I'm saying, we weren't the first ones in Austin to do this. So there were other spaces. They were full, which was the other light bulbs. Like if you're full all the time, there's more need for it.
Yes.
The reality is that bakers, you can bake at home under this thing called the cottage law for up to $50,000 a year in sales, but you're only able to sell direct to consumer and not online. So you can be selling, you want some cookies that I'm baking at home? great, order them through this form that I have, and then you can Venmo me whatever it is. So you can do it that way, but you're not able to sell into a retail store under cottage law. So you can do that as a baker. As a caterer, if you're doing meals for people at home, you can make and prep the food at people's homes and get away with that. Now, if you're doing a large wedding and you need to prep and then take it on site, or you're making the food on their site, you have to have a license for that. But there's ways of going around it. And same with like a salsa or things that people can't get super, or jellies and things of that nature that you can't really get very sick off of. You can do this at home.
Got it.
But there's some products, anything that deals with meat, it has to be done in the kitchen. That's that some kind of regulator is seeing, because you just don't want something going rancid and then someone getting sick, and then it's a violation. You're going to get sued.
Yeah. Talk about like all of the licensing certifications that you have to run this kitchen.
Yeah. So for every city, it's different.
Yeah.
Which just came back from a convention for shared kitchens from across the world. And everyone deals with the same issue. As every county has a different regulation on what the requirements are. And they call these things different things. And there's different hoops you have to jump through. So for Austin and Houston, for Austin, we have to have a food enterprise permit, even though we ourselves don't serve any food as Wingman Kitchens. That's just something that they want to do so they can come in and make sure that our kitchen has all the bells and whistles that it needs. And but then each of our clients needs to get it as well. So in Houston, it operates a little different. So we're in 2 different counties. We're in the city of Houston, and then we're in Missouri City. And in the city of Houston, we don't really need our own license. And the city of Houston also didn't know how to deal with clients that use our space. So they're just figuring out how to do it.
Really?
And they're saying, hey, everyone needs to have their own license there. And in Missouri City, they say, me as Wingman Kitchens need to have this license. And then only your clients that are using your space for certain things need to have this. But if they're using it for this, they are okay to use your permit. So it's different in every city and every county, and it'll drive every operator insane because there's no like streamlined process. Yeah. But that's kind of city permitting in general.
Got it. Yeah. So how long have you been in the business? When did you first start your first kitchen?
We opened in August 2019.
2019. Nice. So you've got 1 here in Austin, 3.
About to be 3 in Houston.
About to be 3 in Houston, and then looking to get in San Antonio. Since 2019, over your entrepreneurial journey, what have you learned about yourself? Cybersecurity is one of the fastest growing, lucrative, and important industries in tech today. If you are interested in starting a cybersecurity career, start with Level D Careers. Josh Madiker teaches a great course on how to get your first role in cybersecurity. I've taken this course myself, you guys, and it is everything you need to start your cyber career from A to Z. You have access to a Discord where you can ask the instructor questions directly. You get to connect with other students having success, build your cyber projects portfolio, receive study questions for cyber certifications, and resume and interview prep. Click the link in the bio or use promo code EARNIE, EARNIE 10 to get 10% off your cyber course. Let's go.
There is a point where I'm not patient anymore. So I've learned that, and there's certain stress levels that I can handle, and then I've been over that point several times. And there's points that, I need to seek counseling for that. Yeah. Just because it gets so stressful. Yeah. And, you've got other people leaning on you, trying to do things, and you're trying to have a space for them, but also try and make a living. And whenever you have something, people always have the mindset of this person's doing really well. They're rich. That's not the case. But, it's really just understanding me as a person is I'm very good at some things and I really am not good at other things. And over the last like 3 or 4 months, it's really been honing in on, okay, this is what I'm good at. I know that I'm good at interacting with people and building relationships and, understanding a sales funnel and these kinds of things. I know my numbers. It's not my strong suit, so I hired a CFO. And so he handles all the stuff now. He's a fractional CFO, and he makes sure that all of our spreadsheets look good, that all of our books look right. And then whenever we need to put together a presentation with a lot of numbers, he's on and does that, and I don't have to worry about that. And then it's the processes side that I think that's our focus over the next couple months is I need to, instead of me being the one that if I'm not there, our business is not going to work. I'm starting to understand, okay, we need to put together standard operating procedures and write it all down so that when I decide that I don't want to be in this position anymore and we can hire someone, that there's standard operating procedures for everything that we do. And so that was another key takeaway that like we need to get more organized for our growth because managing one kitchen, we know how to do it.
Yeah.
Managing 2 kitchens, we figured it out. Now that we're going to have 4 kitchens and we're going to try and have 5 kitchens and more, we need to have everything written out and very organized and be consumable for all the people that are going to be working for us.
Got it. How important are SOPs for even just a solopreneur?
I mean, I don't know. I wasn't using them before. They're all like up here, which is useless for everyone else.
Yep.
But I mean, it's good to understand what the right workflow is that works for you. So I think it's important to have it. For a solo entrepreneur, probably not as important. It's just knowing how you do things. For me, checklists are super important. If I have a checklist, it makes things a lot more palatable for me to knock it out in a day, where otherwise I get overwhelmed and like, oh my gosh, there's so much stuff. But if there's a checklist, you get through it and maybe you choose like an easy task to start with and then you get into a bigger task and just kind of go through it. But everyone operates a little different. I'm not a creative type, but there's the creatives that are like, oh, I need to have this huge graph and then I can vision board it out and then we can put it together. I'm just, bullet points.
Yeah.
We're going to do it that way.
Good. Oh, man. Oh, okay. Here's my question. I had a good question. What does your daily workflow look like?
Oh, no such thing.
No such thing?
There's no consistency right now.
Is it different every day?
It's different every day, and that's a little bit by design. If I'm stuck in an office every day and I get bored.
Okay.
So every day I'm either going out and touring the kitchen or meeting different people that I think are going to be an asset to our clients or our business. We met at a networking thing and a marketing roundtable, and just finding different tools that can better our business. And if I'm out there doing things and talking to people, I'm always learning. And so I try and do a bit of that every week and then building relationships. So for me, it's not just about meeting someone one time. It's about building a true relationship. And again, that goes back to some things that I'm good at. I think I'm good at is that hopefully when you meet me, it's not a one-off thing. If I like you and I think that there's cool things that we can do together, I'm going to try and nurture that to see, what can we do? What you're good at this thing. I'm good at this thing. These are what my clients do. What can we do together? And there's in this city, in Austin, it's such a collaborative city. It makes it a lot easier. Where in Houston, it's a lot harder and you really have to show that you mean what you're saying. Where in Austin, people are a lot more open at the first meet to be like, yeah, let's do it. Come on. So that's where I spend a lot of my time is just in relationship building, cultivating community, and then just making sure that community, hopefully, this is the selfish side of it, but that community is going to benefit me in the long run some way or another, because that's just kind of how the world works, in my view. So that's where I spend a lot of my time. I'll have one day a week where I'm behind my computer knocking out a bunch of admin stuff, making sure that everyone's paid on time. Before this, I was going and doing a notary because some of our clients need notaries for their food trucks. and just going out and doing random things that just have to be done. But the majority of my time is kind of just spent out in the wild, and then coming back and talking to my team, talking about things that we're trying to do and how we can be better.
Okay. I'm curious, in your workflow for the kitchen, what technology you are using?
Yeah, technology, our kitchens don't function properly without technology. And we use this, in the kitchen, we use this software called the Food Corridor. And it's where our clients will book time, and it's where they also pay.
Nice.
And so we're able to say, this is how many cold storage shelves you have, dry storage shelves, freezer, this is which package you're at. We have 4 quote unquote kitchens in Austin, and we have one kitchen's 1,000 square foot. But 4 companies can work in there at the same time. So people are able to book times in there kind of autonomously. I have to approve them to make sure it fits the right Tetris game, because I can't have 4 bakers working in there at the same time. We don't have enough mixer or oven space, but it works if there's like a juice company, a sauce company, a baker, and a caterer, because they all use different pieces of equipment, and they all can be in different spaces and not have to like overlap with each other.
So are they, like, let's say is there one kitchen and they're all in there together?
That's right.
Or there's no separation?
No
like
separation.
This team or whatever? Okay.
No. I mean, people have their prep tables that their stuff's on.
Yeah.
But there's not like, hey, this is a room, or this is a nook, this is a nook. We don't. Some kitchens are set up like that. Ours aren't.
Okay. How do you find that works better for you?
For us, that's what's worked best to best monetize the space. So we're able to have all these companies in there at the same time, which means we're able to generate a lot more revenue that way. And, if we have private nooks, they're specifically for these companies, and you can only generate a certain amount of revenue per month. Whereas for us, we can generate up to a certain amount of money, which is a lot more per square foot than the other model. Now in Austin, it's more of a free-for-all because we can understand. I'm more hands-on on how things work. But in the Houston kitchens, when they make the bookings, they're renting the table, they're renting the like 6-burner or oven or whatever for the period of time that they're in there. So that way they know that there's no overlap.
Okay. And that's how yours runs in Houston, or other people?
That's how ours runs in Houston.
Okay, gotcha. All right, you ready for this one?
I'm not done with our technology though.
Oh,
That's
keep
just
going.
one. That's
Come
just
on. I'm
so we have the Food Corridor, and that's how all these bookings are done.
The app, okay.
There's different tools that we use for getting into the kitchens.
Okay.
Because we don't want to be giving out keys, because if someone goes rogue, we don't want to have to make 50 different keys
God.
again. So in Austin, we use the system called Brevo, and it's a mobile pass to get into the kitchens, and we can give it to as many people as we want, and we can revoke access whenever we want. It makes things super easy because I can just do it on my phone, log in for like 20 seconds, and they get access. And then we have similar systems in Houston. They're just called different things.
Yeah.
And the last piece is the cameras. Cameras are huge for us because we want to make sure that everyone's honest with their bookings. And if anything goes missing, we have cameras to look at it.
Yep.
So we use different tech stacks and different cameras for that. It takes a long time to go and look through video if we have to, but it's a huge piece of technology for us.
That's awesome. Any AI in there?
Not yet.
Not yet.
I mean, we're starting to use more AI on like our inbound systems. So we use a system called Honeybook.
Nice.
And that's how we're getting all of our inbound inquiries. And there's a lot of automations on there, and we're starting to teach it different responses for different things. But we're still very new to the AI responses, and we're starting to play around with Gemini on Google.
Yeah.
But I'm not that comfortable with it yet.
Okay. Cool. I love talking about and learning about AI. So I had to ask that question. I got some other good questions, but this one I want to learn about. So you said to start your first kitchen, you had to raise about 150,000?
100,000, yeah.
100,000. Talk us through that journey. Had you done that before?
No, I've never raised money
Yeah.
before. It's pretty uncomfortable.
Yeah. Let me know. So how did it go?
Yeah, I mean, we built out a deck, and keep in mind, like, I graduated from St. Edward's in 2013, and the way you build decks in 2013 was through like PowerPoint.
Yep.
And over like 6 years later, things change and how the presentations are made, and people are using Canva or different platforms, and you can make them look so much better and cooler. And so you have to do so much less to make it look nice. So it took a learning curve to do that, because my first deck was on PowerPoint, and they're like, well, no, you can't. This doesn't look right. When I did my first pitch, they're like, no, you can't do it. You can't have it look like that. And these it used to be that you really had to do a huge business plan with like everything that makes this your SWOT analysis and all these different things. It's like, now all people want to know is, what's your strategy, what makes you different, and what do your financials look like?
Right.
And so it can be a lot more condensed to like almost an executive summary level. And we definitely had to iterate probably 5 or 6 times on our deck before we were ready. And we were just going and talking to different people to understand that are in the investing world.
Got it.
And then we went to a couple different friends and family, pitched them, which I think that's the most uncomfortable, is asking family and friends for money, because I don't know, it's where you're supposed to start.
Yeah.
But that's not where we ended up getting the money. And we had a couple more like institutional investors, and those weren't it. And then we had one VC group that was invested very heavily into Springdale General, and a handful of businesses in Springdale General. So they saw the value in what we were doing. And at the time they had an event space in Springdale General. So they wanted to utilize our kitchen as the catering kitchen for the event space. So they're like, this makes sense. Let's do it. Unfortunately, with COVID, that didn't work out.
Okay.
And the partnership didn't really work out, but it got us to where we are, and we paid them off, and they're off of our cap table as of May this year. And so now we have a clean cap table with me and my partner here, but also we took the guy that was running all of our operations in Houston and made him a partner. And now we have a much cleaner cap table with a parent company that now owns each individual LLC. Each LLC is the location that it is.
Nice. What's a cap table?
It's a cap table is basically the percentage ownership for the company. So it's like, someone has this much percentage, someone has this much percentage. It's the capitalization table.
Gotcha. And like, I'm learning this too. So you said you found somebody to give you $100,000, right? And then that partnership didn't work out. How do you go about getting out of that? Do you just have to pay them back their money and interest, or how does that work?
Yeah, I mean, we definitely paid them money plus interest. And again, we got lucky that we had someone that was willing to have the conversation.
Yeah.
But really, we were trying to grow, and they weren't willing to join us for the growth ride, even though we were paying them back at a faster rate than any of their other investments, just because the nature of our business, we're a cash cow business. We're not, hey, invest in our technology and let's hope that we sell it and we're going to burn a ton of money for the next 5 years and hopefully we sell it to Google or Microsoft in a couple years. That's not our model. Our model is we need to be cash flow positive from like month 2 on. And we've been lucky enough to do that. And so we had paid them back, and basically the conversation happened that, hey, we're trying to expand in these different cities. We need to utilize our original location for debt servicing for new locations, because we've been cash flowing. This is how much cash this one has. If we can leverage that to open new spaces, to purchase the new equipment or have the down payment for the new rent, then it really works for us. But since they owned over 20% of the company, they had say that basically could kibosh it. and they were like, we're not leveraging this asset for something that we have nothing in. And so we had basically offered, hey, if you want to help us keep growing, would you be able to give us a cash injection for it? Or we gave them several different things and they just weren't open to it. Yeah. So eventually we had to talk to the principal and say, hey, like, it just doesn't seem like you guys are wanting to grow with us. Is there something that we can do to get you off of our investors list, and so that we can do what we want to do and you guys can get the return that you need? And what's the number? And they were very amenable and gave us a number that was attainable for us.
Nice. Yeah.
And so basically we got them within 3.5 years, probably a little under right about 4 years. We got them back their original 100,000 plus another 50,000, and everyone was happy with that.
Do you stay partners until you pay them back, or you just make a deal to pay them back and they get out?
We had set a deadline for them to get paid back, and we did, and then we had an agreement that was written by lawyers that we signed, and then they were fully off of it.
Cool. Okay. This is so interesting. I love to understand the business side of it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that's normal, to be clear.
Yeah.
But that's just, I mean, I think at some point, if you're in that position, hopefully a lot of people don't find themselves in that position. It's, hey, you either come with us on this growth journey, or you figure out what the exit needs to be for you to not work with us anymore. Because right now, being a part of this, when you're not being an asset to us, but you are an investor in it, it's not good for anyone, because you're going to I'll find a way for you to make less money at the end of the day.
Yeah. Break down, you mentioned using, let's say, your first spot as debt service is that to get your next spots? Can you break that down?
So basically when you go to a bank and you say, hey, it's going to take us $50,000 to open this new space. We don't have that much money in our bank account. Can we use this existing kitchen to help us get this loan? Because maybe I don't have that kind of money in my bank account, or I don't want to personally guarantee it.
Yeah.
And so if we can personally guarantee it from the business side, and they're like, okay, well, you have these assets. We have a bunch of cooking equipment in there and refrigerator and all these other things. But we also have a 5-year history, which that's the biggest part. We have a 5-year history of being good on cash flow and paying debt. And so because pretty much it's the credit score, same thing as a credit score. We show we have good history on paying everything and paying everyone, and also having a cash balance that they can utilize that history and say, hey, yeah, we can grant you this loan.
Okay, got it. This is the question. It's not that crazy, don't worry. I want to know what your worst business decision has been, if you can share.
Yeah, this is a really easy one. We decided to go into Houston as a new market, and we came upon this kitchen space that was already fully built out, had some clients in it, and it seemed like a really good opportunity for us to just pretty much turnkey be able to be in Houston. And we thought it was going to be an easy market. And there were a couple huge mistakes on that. One was going into a new market. There's always new hurdles, and you have to build credibility and build your business there. And people didn't know us there. And so it took a long time it took probably 6 or 7 months for people to understand what we were doing there, to understand our model, and then to trust us. So that was a big thing. The biggest thing was we didn't do the proper diligence on our landlord. And that almost bankrupted our business, my mental stability.
Yep.
And we ended up in a legal battle, and nobody wins in a legal battle. He didn't live up to what he had promised us. And, it was really bad for our business and our reputation, because when the facility is not working properly, the clients look to me and to our team. And we're beholden to the landlord. in some instances. And if the landlord can't come up with the proper fix for it, we're going to lose our clients, which we did. Yeah. And we're going to tarnish our reputation, which luckily, we just took a hit. We were like, hey, we can't make you pay, even though we still paid rent. We can't make you pay because you weren't able to use the kitchen. The kitchen was 112 degrees. Yeah. And we're in the middle of Houston summer. Like, it can't have it. And I'm not about to have you faint in here and then really come after me. Yeah. It just can't happen. So we continue to be transparent on our business operations, but not really doing our diligence and understanding what the whole situation was before we moved in. We moved too fast, and that's something that we'll never do again.
Mm-hmm. That's a good one. That's a good learning. So doing more due diligence on the landlord and maybe other properties that they run and seeing.
Talking to their tenants. Yeah. If someone's trying to rush you into signing a lease, it's not going to be a fit. Yeah. Like, I understand them wanting to sign, but if they give you the ultimatum of, it needs to be signed next week or it's not going to happen, shouldn't do it. Yeah. And then, there were, in retrospect, you can always see things more clearly. And there were just so many red flags that we should have caught on of, like, inability to utilize technology, but the guy was and claimed that he was a tech person. Yeah. And so it's just like a lot of different things that we just caught him in a lie, even before we signed the agreements, that should have been a bigger indicator for us, that we just saw the dollar signs and we went with it, and we know better now. And we spend a lot more time understanding who the landlord is, what the reputation is, and then negotiating different things into our leases now that we didn't before. Awesome. Because for here in Austin, I keep using the term lucky, and that's not the thing. I'm blessed to have a really good network of people here, and my uncle is a realtor or a property manager, owns a lot of different properties around town, and he was our shepherd in Springdale General and made things so easy, and we didn't realize how good we had it until we went somewhere else. And so we were so jaded on, like, the expectations on different things, and now we just come in with a different arsenal of, hey, these are our non-negotiables. We're not going to go into a space with an AC that's not functioning properly. You need to be the one that's in charge of the air conditioning, not us. Yep. And we're willing to spend up to a certain amount per year on it, but if it needs to be replaced, we're not going to be the one spending $20,000 on it. That's not it. We're just going to spend $5,000 a year, and that doesn't include the maintenance of it. We'll spend $5,000 to repair small things, but if the whole system needs to be replaced, I'm out. I can't afford. It doesn't work on our model. Yeah. And different things of like that nature that we're putting into our things now that the landlords, most of the time, they're not cool with. But if they're not cool with it, we're probably not going to be a good fit to work with.
Yeah. On the flip side of that, what's been your best business decision? Like, yes, nailed it, knew it was going to happen, or opposite, you didn't know, but it was like a great decision.
That's a harder question. The best business decision. I mean, one of the best business decisions I made was going into business with Robert. He's like definitely been a stronghold for us in the kitchens, and knowing what the right plays are for building out a space and kind of just being the voice of reason, pushing us to do some things that I didn't agree with in the beginning. Yeah. He's been a great decision for us. That's probably the best decision we've made for what we've done. But I don't know. We've made so many good decisions that's why we continue to grow. I think that I think the way that we built the model out on the tiered prices and how we continue to, like, obviously we have to increase pricing because rent continues to get more expensive. But like we let people know that that's going to happen, and just having the flexibility and having that be a huge part of our business, that continues to be a huge decision maker for why people come and utilize our kitchens.
Do you worry about competition? Like, how do you approach competition in other kitchens?
Yeah, I mean, it's impossible not to worry about competition. We're intentionally not opening up another space in Austin right now because we think the market's saturated.
Okay.
And we look at it from the amount of inquiries that come in. And when we first started, we were seeing probably 3 or 4 inquiries a week. And that maintained even through the pandemic. And we were like, this is great. Like, we're full. We're getting to full. There's different, if you want to work the graveyard shift, you can come in, but that's pretty much all that's available. But now that's trickled down to like closer to 1 a week or 1 every other week. And that just tells us the market is not quite it's the market has enough space.
Yeah.
And so there's no need for more square footage. And so it's just looking, now we have to get more savvy with our offering and what else we can offer on top of it to really entice customers in.
Yeah.
So that was the indicator here for us, and why competition's great and makes everyone better, but doesn't mean that I need to open up another location here. And then in Houston, we saw the opposite of, hey, we opened up one location. After that first 6 months, we kind of saw, oh, wow, there's a lot of people needing this. And now the market's starting to understand how we do things and why we do things. And people are telling people, and I'm not saying we're going gangbusters in Houston. That's not the case. But we continue to stay busy there.
Yeah.
And Houston is such a massive city with over 4 million people there. And we can have 6 different locations there, and they're all 45 minutes apart from each other, because Houston, it's not just a massive city population-wise, but it's a massive city landmass-wise. And it's so spread out. And so we can have these kitchens in totally different parts of Houston and be hitting totally different clientele, not in what they're doing, but just geographically. You know, some people, everyone wants to be somewhat close to where they're either servicing or where they're living. And so if we're kind of all over the town, then we're hitting the people where they are.
Nice. Question for your first kitchen in Houston. Was that the one that you had the issue with the landlord? The first
Yes,
the first one?
that was the first one.
Yeah. Okay. Good. So you learned.
We learned. Yeah, we learned, and we got a lot stronger after that.
Awesome. What are you most thankful for in 2024?
Yeah, I mean, it continues to be the same thing that I'm thankful for pretty much every year, is having strong family and friends. And that's a support system that I thrive on. And as long as that stays true, I know that I'm going to be good. And I'm just super thankful for having that.
Speaking of family and friends, earlier you mentioned that when you were pitching, right? Pitching for money to start the business, you went to family and friends first. Talk about that. How did that feel if you didn't get any money from friends and family? Because there's entrepreneurs out there that have any type of business, and they will feel a certain type of way. They might be down about their idea because family may not support them, or friends.
Yeah, I think it's a really interesting dynamic when you're pitching to those people, because these are the people that you care about the most. And I rarely think that it's that they don't want to give you the money. It's that they don't think it's the best use of their money, and this is their hard-earned money. And it's just one of those things where if they truly believe in the business, it's not that they don't believe in you, but maybe they know nothing about the business, you know. And it took a long time for my family, my parents, to understand what I did.
Yeah.
And I didn't ask them for the money. They had given me money for other things. But this is not something, to give money is something I feel like you need to understand what it is. To open a restaurant and for people to give money to that, everyone knows what a restaurant is. So you have to believe in the person you're giving money to as an operator and their concept, and think that the area that they're looking at, the people actually want it or not. But then there's other things where, hey, I'm starting this app that does this, this, and this. And you're like, those 3 words, I have no idea what you said. And maybe it's not the right fit. So it's finding those people that you think can understand what you do. And, I went and pinched my uncle, and they turned us down
Yeah.
for that. But he's like, here's the space. We're going to give you money for the build out that then gets amortized, but it's going to be a friendly, and I'll discuss what amortized means, but it's going to be put into this rent over the next 10 years. But no other landlord's going to do that for you. Like, that's my contribution to this.
Nice.
So, like, to discuss further on what amortization is, it's basically, hey, this is what your rent rate is. So it's going to be $15 a foot per year. But because you're going to get another $150,000 from the landlord, they're going to make that $15 turn into, call it $20 a foot per year. Mm-hmm. And over the 10 years, that allows them to get paid back plus a little bit. But it makes it so like it's basically a loan, but it's the landlord's covering it because you're their tenant.
Interesting.
Because they don't think that you're going to be able to get that same thing from a traditional bank, but they also know that it's an improvement to their own property.
Got it. Okay. So it's a benefit to them anyway.
Some of the time.
Some of the time.
Yeah, because if you have a super unique space and you're building it out to where really the only use case is just for what you're doing, it's not.
Yeah.
But if they already know that they're probably going to make their money back in 5 years if it's a 10-year lease. And then the rest of it is just, it looks good from the investment side.
Okay. Let's talk about goals this year. Everybody has their goals they set out to do, in January. I want to know what goals you set for yourself personally or for business. And did you hit those yet?
Yeah, 2024, we had set a goal to open up to be at 3 locations total. We're going to exceed that. So we've done pretty well with that. We wanted to be at a certain number in revenue per month, and we hit that this last month. So that was great. There's certain goals that we didn't hit. There was a retention goal that we didn't hit on retention of different clients.
Okay.
But I think you set goals up to not always be able to hit it. And that's kind of what I told our team is if we're setting goals up that are so easy to hit every time, then what's the point? Yep. So if we don't hit them all, it's not the end of the world. We're too small to have bonuses. But it's like, these are the things that we're striving for. And if we don't hit it, then we have next year to do it.
Yeah.
And then we continue to work on our communication goals and just making sure that everyone's on the same page. We have Slack channel, but then we're all available through text message. There's 4 of us, so it's not hard. But it's just like, how do we streamline this to make it so that if there's a task that you need someone to do, how do we make it easy to like throw it on Asana or throw it on some other platform that is easily consumable for everybody?
Yeah. On the ones, the goals that you didn't hit yet, do you feel like you got better in those areas in general for setting that goal and trying to attain it?
I'm not sure about that.
No.
I think that we're always learning on how to get better for sure. Yeah. And it's more, I think on our year-end review that we'll do in a couple weeks, I think we'll go back and look and be like, okay, well, what could we have done to retain these people? Because there might be something where there's, in a lot of cases for us, there's no way to retain them because their business went under and we have nothing to do with their business. Or it's their business got too big and they no longer fit in our space.
Okay.
Very rarely do people leave our kitchen because they found a better offering.
Got it.
It's more that maybe they found a space that was closer to them, but again, that's not something that we can really do. So I think it's more just like maybe the goals, we change the goal for next year as like, instead of it being a retention, we do customer happiness, but then we have to figure out how we gauge that.
Okay. What are you excited about next year?
I think next year is going to be a scary but super fun year.
Scary why?
Scary because I think we're going to grow a lot.
Okay.
And we're going to take on some projects that are a lot bigger than we've ever done.
Okay.
For instance, this project in San Antonio that we've been pushing at for a handful of years now, it's going to have a manufacturing component to it. So really all we've focused on to this point is shared kitchens. So we'll have like anywhere between 1,000 and 2,500 square foot space that hosts all these culinary entrepreneurs. that include consumer packaged goods. But what we see as a huge gap is that once those consumer packaged goods, they can't work in our space anymore because they need more capacity. There's not really somewhere for them to go between when they're in our kitchen and when they're in like 1,000 stores. Like when you're in probably 200, 300 stores, you need to have greater capacity for manufacturing, whether it's a fill line or labeler or something like that.
Yeah.
So we're going to have those inputs in our kitchen in San Antonio with co-manufacturers also in the space with warehousing. So it's going to be, right now I just sent it to someone, looks like 35,000 square feet is what we're going to need.
And your current ones are 20,000 square feet?
No. Our current ones are between 1,000 and 2,500 square feet.
Okay.
So like way bigger.
Okay.
But that's kind of the demand that we're seeing. And that's something that we're not pivoting into, but trying to test out, hey, is this a need? Because it's not, are we really questioning it? Because we see it all the time and we hear it from people all the time, especially from my business partner. Because Robert has this company called Pretty Thai, and he's manufacturing in our kitchen, and he takes up, 60% of our storage, which isn't feasible for us. But also, he's in H-E-B and in Myers, and he's just got into Walmart. And so like he's in all these things and he's not going to be able to manufacture. He needs a bigger space with more equipment to be able to produce it for. And he's one of probably 100,000 companies across the US that need similar things, that just need that extra step in their journey to be like, okay, I can manufacture at this level, but most people don't have the capability of buying the $50,000 to $100,000 piece of equipment that is needed to streamline those things.
Okay. I'm trying to piece it together as far as your entrepreneurs that are in Houston and Austin. So let's say somebody from Austin or Houston needs to go up to the next level of like manufacturing. Can they still work with you from their San Antonio, or do they need to be in the same city with that type of manufacturing opportunity?
That's the part that we're going to be figuring out, is are they willing to travel?
Okay.
Because the reality is that they could come and do a run in San Antonio. Like San Antonio is an hour and 10 minutes away from Austin.
Yeah.
It's a 4-hour drive from Houston. Are they willing to do that? I don't know. Do we think that we're going to offer something that nobody else is really offering? Yes. But it's just a matter of convenience, and are they willing to do it? Are they willing to spend their day and potentially bring team members up for a day to do it? And Austin, coming from Austin to go there for a day, I think it's pretty feasible.
Yeah.
Houston, I'm not sure about that.
Cool.
But I think in San Antonio, we already have enough interest that just the San Antonio community will be able to utilize it and keep us pretty busy there.
Awesome. And it's going to be both, like there's going to be the kitchen aspect and on top of it, the manufacturing.
Yeah, I mean, we have a dream project, is what I'm calling it, and the reality is we'll have the shared kitchen. Robert will have his production with some like shared fill room area. Then there's 2 other companies that I'd like, really 3 other companies that I'd like to join us. That one can do beverage, one can do salsas, and then one can do, he does like granola and more like dry packing. And then everyone's sharing a warehouse space and a warehouse manager. And then ideally, again, this is our dream. Ideally, we have services on like a second floor with people that are doing package design, people that are doing photography, business development people, and then some kind of buyers from different stores that are up there. And as well as like a classroom area for people to teach, whether it's like a food manager's class or someone that's teaching business development. All these classes can be had there, so it becomes a hub and a center of innovation for the food world.
That's really cool. So when you're thinking about this type of building, do you have to build that out, or you find the structure and then build out the inside?
Yeah, I think it's more option 2. You find the structure and build it out. But for me, it's still build out. Because when we say finding like a second generation space, that just means there's already all the existing things, and really all I have to put in is equipment maybe, and then maybe put on a fresh paint job and do a deep clean, and we're good to move in. But anytime we're having to create plans, architectural drawings, and all that stuff, that's a full build out because it's going to take months and months to do that. And now we have someone that's going to be overseeing it, but it's a process. And it's something that you just hope that goes well and is on time, because otherwise you're losing money.
Yeah. I'm excited for that.
Me too.
I would love to take a tour. I still got to take a tour with you here in Austin, but...
What are you doing after this?
What am I doing? Probably nothing.
It's 2-minute drive. Let's go.
Let's go. Okay, cool. We're doing that. If I don't have a cough attack again.
Yeah.
You guys missed it. I had this long tear. It was embarrassing. But we got it on tape, so whatever. I'll share. Question: What do you think stops entrepreneurs from, or just people in general from chasing their dreams and trying something new, getting into business, just starting a dream project? What do you think stops people from that and keeps them on the sideline?
I mean, aren't there a million things? But I think the one thing is the mental block.
Yeah.
I think we all deal with this, with like an imitation. I feel like I'm a pretender sometimes. I'm saying these things. Do I do it all the time? No. But like it's that mental block of saying, yeah, I really want to do this, but I don't think I can do it. And it's like getting the confidence to do it. And I mean, surprisingly, I'm not a big risk taker. This is just kind of the journey that I've chosen. But, it's a big risk. And I think you have to be super vulnerable and be okay with failing. And I think people are more scared of failing than succeeding.
Of course.
And that'll just stop you in your tracks. Once you start thinking about failing before you're starting, it just eats you alive. And you're like, I'm too scared to do this. And instead of just like going forward and seeing where it goes, obviously there's different limitations with different businesses. Like if you're trying to open a restaurant, that's a huge capital expense.
Yeah.
It's not something you can just start, but there's other ones that you can just bootstrap it and go for it without trying to spend your whole life savings and see where it goes.
Okay. So I would love to know, what's the best advice you've gotten from a mentor within business, within just personal life, whatever?
Yeah, I think I said it before, is that don't be scared to ask questions.
Okay.
And then, finding the people that you think are the best. It's really hard. And I've really struggled with finding people that are like really good at what they're doing.
Yeah.
And trying to put them on our team, because a lot of times I'm happy to ask them questions, but being able to put them on our team to pay them what they need to be paid, we're not ready for that. But just asking the questions, and because there's all kinds of people that have done it before, and I don't utilize it, but there's all kinds of programs like EGBI and SCORE that'll have coaches for you, and they're free coaches. And for me, I have different mentors that I go and reach out to about different business questions. We're looking into franchising. What do you think about that? How do you do that?
Yeah.
When we are looking into the business, redoing our business structure, how do you go about that? What are the different options we have? Even for me personally, how do I pay myself? And how did you do insurance? And just like different things, it's just asking the people. And people are usually pretty open. People like telling you their opinions. And I usually say opinions because advice is, everyone has their own opinions on their advice. Only a couple people really have like the hard facts on things.
Right. How do you, with this type of business, how do you protect it? I don't know, like insurance, how do you protect, like if, let's say a partner, if you become sick and you can't work the business, right? You can't operate the business. How do you protect yourself in those situations?
Yeah, I don't have that answer. The only thing I really know how to protect is our reputation. And the only way that we've been able to do that is just transparency with everything that we do. If we if we have a convection oven that goes down, we're going to try and fix it as fast as possible, and we're going to try and get answers as fast as possible. Sometimes the parts take forever to get in. And so we basically will tell everyone, this is our order number. You can track it as we're tracking it. It's trying to come in as fast as it can. We have an ice machine it's functioning, but you have to pick at it for the ice to like break apart now, because that function is not working properly. And that part has been back ordered for like 2 months, and we're still waiting for it. And so it's just as long as you're keeping your clients up to date on being transparent on everything that you're doing, at least in our world, it's proven to really help our reputation. And for us, reputation's everything, because a lot of people can do what we do. We don't run some kind of novel business. Yeah. We have a kitchen and we rent it out. Yeah. But it's how we run it and how we treat people, I think, is what keeps people. And so really what we have to protect is our reputation, and that has to stay pretty standardized between Austin and Houston. And that goes with how you treat people, how fast you are to fix things. If different clients aren't getting along with each other, figuring out the root of that. It's playing a little bit of a daycare game, but also playing a psychologist game. And none of us have that degree, but it's just like getting to the bottom, trying to make people happy.
Yeah. All right, let's wrap this up. So last question would be for anybody that is interested in, trying to create a kitchen for themselves in their city, in their state, wherever they are, what path do they need to take? What things do they need to do? Like top 5 things that would get them to take action?
Yeah. So first thing is, surveying the community, seeing what kitchens are out there going on. The food corridor has a tool called the kitchen door, and it's where you can search kitchens in your area. So like just doing a quick search and seeing who's doing what. How there's some people that rent out hourly, you have to pay $30 an hour, and that's all they do. Okay. There's some people that have packages like me. There's some people that require you to have a certain minimum hours, and then they have a credit package, or you pay for 100 hours, and then once those 100 hours are up, you have to re-up your credits. It's like seeing who's doing what in your community and knowing that, but then also going to the farmers markets. That's like the lowest barrier entry, is just talking to people at the farmers market, seeing where they're working at. And then going and talking, if there aren't anyone, or if there isn't anyone doing a shared kitchen, go and talk to the health department and say, hey, what's it going to take to open this kind of space? What are the rules for these kinds of businesses, whether it's food trucks or caterers or pop-ups, whatever it is? What kind of rules do we have in place that we need to know about? Kind of get buddy with the health department. We've not done a good job here. We do a much better job in Houston. Okay. The health department, the turnover here has just been a lot, and the rules seem to keep changing on us. Yeah. And we're trying to get to the bottom of it. But doing that, and then really the best resource that you can go to is on the food corridor. They have a shared kitchen like handbook and some other things. I think it's $1,000. It's not cheap, but it gives you the full playbook of everything that you should do to get started and be looking for, all these different strategies in it and all these rules you should set. It gives you, it'll save you hundreds of hours of time rather than drafting it yourself. We drafted a lot of the stuff ourselves because we thought we knew it all. But we could have really saved a lot of time if we had just paid $1,000 and just called it a day and utilized the tools that they had.
Nice. Well, thank you so much for being on the show.
Thanks so much for having me.
It's really good.
Yeah, hopefully it's a little different for your people.
Oh, it's great. Any last words? You kind of you gave us a blueprint, but any last words for anybody that's like sitting back watching, like, man, I want to do this, but
yeah, I mean, for the super niche crowd that wants to do shared kitchens, I think there's like under 1,000, or like I think there's 4,000 shared kitchens in the world. So you'd be part of a very small community. We already have a Facebook page that's pretty active with all kinds of questions. Cool. So if you're interested in your community, join that page, reach out to me. I'm an open book. I've had several people in smaller towns in Texas reach out to me interested in doing what I do.
Cool.
I'm not scared to share what we do because I don't really think it's anything innovative. It's more of how the execution of it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, go for it. Try and understand really what the market is. Don't just think it's a real estate play. It's not. You're dealing with creatives, and anytime you're dealing with creatives, you have to understand what that personality type is, and how to deal with that. I love them. Some people don't. So come in with an open mindset, but also with a lot of patience, because that's what it takes to run this kind of business.
Perfect. Thank you, Max.
Thank you.
After what? After when did we meet? Has it been 2 years?
No way.
Maybe a year.
It's probably been a year.
That's good. That's good. Thank you, EGBI, right?
Yeah, thanks, EGBI.
Thanks for being on the show.
No,
That's
thanks.
Sweet. All right, you guys. Stats to Assets. We're out. I'm going to see you when I see you. Peace.